Hello, hello. Welcome, everyone. I hope you're enjoying your day, and I would love for you to all enter in your name, where you're coming to us from, what kind of writing you're involved in right now, what's your work in progress, and let us know how and what you're looking for today. I have a lot planned, and I just want to make sure you all can hear me. So I'm going to look down here at the comments and make sure everything is going fine and looking and sounding good. Thank you, Terry. I appreciate that. And again, we want to welcome you all. I have created a lot of information today, and I'm going to start with that in just a moment. I just want to say hello to everyone and let everyone get settled in here a bit. But it looks like we are coming to us all over the world. We had an overwhelming amount of signups for this particular topic. Very amazed at how many people are excited about this. This is not new. It may be more, what do we say, viral now discussion, but this has been, evolving over years and years and years. So it's not new necessarily to those of us in the industry, but for those of you who are being amazed by this new wave of opportunity and technology, welcome, and let's make some sense of this today. So I just want to say hello to everyone as they come in. Gary, Margaret, Ms. Looks like we've got people from Florida, North Florida. We have everyone's talking about different online editing tools already. That's really great. We can talk about that a little bit more. Feel free throughout tonight or today, for those of you in other locations, to enter your questions into the comments, and I will cover as much as I can as we get to them. Welcome from Rancho Mirage, California, Colorado. Very nice to have you. I'm originally from Kansas myself. And sound, do you hear me? Sound? Chico, California says, I'm sorry if you're having trouble signing in. It should be live now. AI generated music, of course, probably. So, welcome from Indiana. Lots of people from Texas tonight. Tampa checking in there. The UK, first novel, congratulations. Caesar in 55 BC. Wow. Children's books out there tonight. So we have all kinds of things going on, historical fantasy and drama. So again, fantastic things happening there. And let's just see what we're going on. We've got all kinds of stuff. So enter in, we've got California, etc. I'm going to set up here. So I have my notes in front of me, and we will get started here. 1 second. There we go. And we're going to get started here. 1 second. All right. Does not want to work for me. But again, sign in, say where you're from, how you're meeting us today. We look forward to having everyone come and join us. And again, I hope I can answer all your questions regarding AI, how it affects us in the writing and editing community, and what we're doing out here to make sure that our writing is all evolving there. So with that in mind, let's get started. Again, remember to write any of your questions and concerns into the comments here, and I'll be glad to answer them. And today's topic is AI editing, and this is versus the human professional editing, or humans in general. We're going to be talking about AI, algorithms, Automatons, ChatGPT, Bard, Appies, all of this. And the writing world is buzzing with the rise of AI editing tools for writing and editing and publishing and marketing and just about everything and so much more. So is this like a genie in a box? Is it a dream come true for us? And can robots really replace the human touch? Well, let's talk about that a bit. And how does it look when we compare AI editing with human book editing? Today, I want to explore the strengths and the limitations from each, and I want to talk about how it pinpoints the typos and how we actually polish the prose. So we want to talk about the secrets of humanizing all that AI-generated content, and that will distinguish editing from outright rewriting. So my name is Joellen. I'm from firstediting.com. We have assisted over 50,000 authors since 1997 in writing, editing, and more. And today I want to share that experience with you. It's a combination of how we're working with the AI tools and the approaches so that you can walk away and have some answers here. Again, I encourage you to ask questions during the time we have here together. And please note that we have been overwhelmed by the response to this topic on AI writing and editing. And I have a list of questions that we'll start with. And I hope to address all of those as they come in from you. And if we don't get to your questions, don't worry. You are always welcome to reach out to us. You can email us directly at editors@firstediting.com. You can ask us for help with your editing needs, your questions, whatever it is. And we just love talking with people. We are real humans there. So let's compare AI tools and human professional editors. 1 second here. I just want to make sure we're still reading okay and everyone's checking in. Everything's going well. Good, good, good. Excellent. A few more. And excellent. Okay. So our overview today is that that we can get started here and talk about everything that we have going on and answer all those questions about writing and editing and what does it mean to use AI? What is it, how are people doing it? What are the differences? We're seeing a lot of that as people come in with fiction and nonfiction to us, and how they are creating, composing, compiling, paraphrasing different works there. So let's compare AI tools and the human or professional editors. So today you're going to get a little bit of a valuable insights into understanding and navigating the evolving landscape of self-editing, and then also the professional book editing. So these are tools you use together. And I want to ensure that your voice shines through all of this, no matter how you're sourcing your creation or which method of production you're using. So we want to explore the future of fiction and nonfiction writing, all of the editing and publishing as a whole. So today we're going to discuss the strengths and limitations of AI versus human editing. So if you how we're going from grammar to polishing your prose and which of these shines best. Next, we want to talk about how we can humanize AI content. So how do we infuse artificial text with your unique voice? And lastly, we want to talk a little bit about editing versus copywriting or ghostwriting. So there is a delicate dance there between just enhancing your work and rewriting it all together. So when we're done, I want you to walk away informed by gaining some insights and some actions from a seasoned pro, me, and how we'll talk about how to navigate this ever evolving publishing landscape and ensure that your voice resonates if it's powered by AI or human expertise, and how you can put these tools to work for you today when you walk away. So I want to get you started. So let's get started with all of this in terms of AI versus human professional book editing, and how do we navigate the future with these new tools, because it's really amazing what's happening. And in today's digital landscape, the role of editing has evolved dramatically, and artificial intelligence, or AI, is emerging as a powerful tool for improving the quality and the efficiency of self-editing and copy editing. But it also raises the questions about the future of human editing. So of course, I'm concerned about this. And this webinar is going to explore the pros and cons of using AI versus using a human editor. And it'll examine your strengths and the limitations of each of those approaches, and discuss how AI can automate these tasks, such as grammar checking, spell checking, style consistency. That's a new one that's doing very well. Also, highlighting the importance of human judgment and creativity in the editing process. Where is it essential and where is it not? So there are different methods during the different phases of editing. And just so we are sure on that, we have different book editing stages. You have developmental editing, which is finishing your first draft. It deals with composition, structure, engagement, and more. You have content editing, which is, and critiques there, which is more of your designing, polishing, and evaluating the manuscript as it is. You have line editing, which is about the description, cohesion, flow, style on a sentence by sentence stage. Copy editing, your grammar, spelling, punctuation, syntax, etc. You follow all that with formatting, which leads you into proofreading, which is your final review and approval of what you've done. So when we're looking at the strengths and weaknesses of AI versus human editing, you have to look at the tools. And there is a growing popularity of AI-powered writing and editing tools out there. Pseudo-Write, Jasper AI, Novel AI, Writer, Scribbler, Fictionary, Marlowe, Manuscripts AI, Authors AI, blah, blah, blah. And there's just a few of the many AI-powered book writing and editing tools, and there's going to be a lot more they'll keep developing. So with so many options to choose from, you're going to have to find the perfect tool for you that helps you write your next bestseller. But you need to overcome the learning curve and not overwhelm yourself with too many options or too many tools. You want to make sure you have the knowledge to understand the purpose of the tools provided so that they're best done. And what I like to think about is tools are tools, and they're dependent on how you use them. So a craftsman can come in and create a masterpiece, while a noob is someone who will still need to learn all of the techniques to create this masterpiece and benefit from using that tool. So keep that in mind. Now, some of the benefits of using AI for editing is accessibility, much, much lower costs, and it's automated. So it's very easy. The limitations of AI editing are going to come down to lack of human judgment. You're going to have limited creativity and less cohesion of voice. And of course, lack of understanding between the context being written. So what is the role of human editors? Well, the importance of human editors in the editing process is going to still remain as the priceless connection between humans. And that can be between the editor and the author, or the author and the readers. So you really need to stick to that. And the strengths of human editors are critical thinking, creativity, understanding language nuances, language training, comprehension of the goal of the writer, and what that specific genre's requirements are. So those are all unique things. And the advantages of professional book editors, while AI-powered editing tools are becoming increasingly sophisticated, human editors still offer several distinct advantages. And we'll go into that now. So understanding the context and the nuance of what you're writing. Human editors can grasp the deeper meaning and the intent of your writing. They'll consider factors like the audience, your genre, your cultural references, and AI tools often struggle with those subtleties. You're going to have content editors to assess your overall flow and structure. They'll make suggestions beyond basic grammar and mechanics, which is what the AI focuses on. So you're going to get deeper there. It's a higher level. Professional book editors can also identify plagiarism and potential copyright issues, which, to be honest, AI tools often miss or actually insert. So creativity and originality is important because humans are going to give you creative solutions to improve your writing style, tone, and impact. And AI tools are just simply more limited in this regard. We have developmental editors who offer feedback on the content itself, not just the mechanics, but they're going to suggest new ideas or structuring your arguments, and that's going to help you develop overall. So editors can coach you in the writing. They're going to tailor their approach to your individual needs and your voice. So that's also important when you have a complex or unique project, that human editors excel at handling complex editing tasks like technical documents, academic papers, or creative writing, where there's a nuanced understanding and it's pretty crucial to the whole manuscript. So we can adapt to specific style guides and formatting requirements, which AI is not there yet. And professionals handle the factual checks and research, and this is something which AI tools are as of yet failing. So there's a couple other additional advantages, of working with a professional book editor. And human editors are basically book coaches. They're going to answer your questions, explain their reasoning, provide valuable learning opportunities, and professional editors offer editorial critiques and consultations, which is very important. They can also offer personalized feedback and guidance, and they're going to build a rapport with you throughout the editing process, which is going to help you grow as a writer. When you use a developmental editor, they're going to take a very high level approach. They're going to add a human touch to your writing, ensure it retains authenticity, and that you are creating an emotional impact with your readers. So these are all important details. And while AI editing tools offer some benefits, they're speedy, efficient, and affordable, the best approach, I would say, is to combine them. Combine human and AI editing for optimal results, because you need to use all the tools at hand, right? So the value of a human or professional book editor is highly dependent upon the stage of editing that you are in. So again, going back to developmental editing, where you're finishing your first draft, this is ideal for humans because you're dealing with the composition, your structure, your engagement, and all those things and more. Content editing and critiquing also is a human editor designing, polishing, and evaluating. When you get to line editing, it's about description, cohesion, flow, and style. So you still need them there, but that is being met. Copy editing is where you can get your grammar, spelling, punctuation, syntax from an AI. After you finish formatting, you go into proofreading, and of course, you just don't want to limit it. You want to make sure you cover that. So it depends upon where you are. So let's talk about how you're going to harness the power of AI and human editors. How can we humanize AI content? Well, getting the best of all worlds means having a combination of expert knowledge and skills along with the high-tech tools that we now have at hand. And this applies to both writers and editors and anyone else in the publishing journey who is implementing AI tools into the production process. So there's a lot of tools out there. If you haven't found what you need, just wait a day. So AI, they can write some of the content, and it most definitely can outline your content as it scrubs the internet for whatever info you instruct it to find. It'll combine it and present it for you for use, but this can also include plagiarized content, inaccurate information, and illegible details quite often. So you need to be an expert when you're going through this. So your job as the writer is to know what is right or wrong. You have to be able to identify the strengths and the weaknesses of the content, the meaning provided. And if you can't, you need an expert who can. So ultimately, your readers are going to sense when things are off in the same way that they're excited when things are done right. It's just there. It's subconscious, and it happens all the time. So you're going to integrate the AI and the human professional book editors. So you need to understand the roles and the responsibilities between AI versus the human editors. So AI should be used for tasks where it excels, such as automated proofreading, style suggestions, and those lower level ones. While human editors should always focus on the higher level tasks like your plot, your development, your character consistency, and overall narrative flow. It's very important. So when you integrate AI and human editors together, you can significantly enhance the book editing process. And this is going to lead to improved quality, higher productivity, and what you want, reduced costs, because it is expensive. So there are some strategies for effectively integrating these two approaches. You want to utilize AI for initial proofreading and error correction. You're going to utilize AI to automate the basic proofreading tasks and detect the grammatical errors, typos, and inconsistencies that you find in your punctuation and formatting. And this will significantly reduce the time spent on the mundane tasks And once you remove that, that means your human editors have a chance to focus on the more complex aspects of editing and writing assessments. And this results in a better ROI, or return on investment, for you, the author. So you also want to leverage your AI for style and grammar suggestions. There are AI tools that can provide valuable suggestions for improving your writing style, your sentence structure, and your grammar. Anything you don't understand or agree with, simply leave that in for your professional line editors, who can look at these, review these suggestions, and sometimes they're right, sometimes they're wrong. It just all depends. And they will make informed decisions about which ones to incorporate. So you don't have to know it all, but you should still use it. And then we want to emphasize that AI for pattern recognition or data analysis is also out there. So the algorithms, they analyze all of your text data, and they identify patterns and trends and anomalies. And editing tools which do this are particularly useful for identifying overused words, cliches, inconsistencies in your style or tone. And if you share these results with your editor, again, whenever you have concerns or questions, they're going to give you a valid solution that you can depend upon. So it's good to use. Now, you also want to use AI for content generation and idea brainstorming. So it can generate ideas, outline chapters, create all kinds of plots there for you. But human editors are then needed to refine and polish the content once you've aligned it, to ensure it aligns with your vision and your overall style. Again, you are the owner of this. So I recommend you only use AI models trained on high quality literature. And what that means is that you need to ensure your AI tool is trained so that it can enhance and identify and suggest improvements in your writing style or your grammar and your overall storytelling according to your genre or your niche. And again, you need to know your genre. That's very important. So you can complement your editing with the AI generated insights and share your tools analysis, such as the identified patterns or improvements in writing style that the AI is telling you. And you're also going to get informed decisions from your editor based on past publishing success. And by using an editor, you're going to learn the editing process and writing for your future and for your future self-editing. So when you effectively integrate AI and human editing, authors produce a more high quality manuscript. It's faster, more efficient, and a lower cost. It's a collaborative approach, which is going to redefine the editing process, and it will revolutionize the way that books are created and published. So I'm going to get onto this. What actions can you implement today? Well, first, go out and use AI to generate initial outlines and plot suggestions. Test it, try it, see if it works for you. You can also use it to generate outlines and plots for authors, to get your ideas down on paper, to use as a trigger. You'll often see the structure of your work coming out there. So it helps you in plotting. And this can be valuable for authors who are struggling to get started, or if you want to get feedback on your ideas early on. There are many tools in the market now which give writing prompts and help you plot your story in this method. So I encourage you to try that. Now, you can also use AI for your self-editing. This is very valuable, such as proofreading and grammar checking. We've all been watching track changes from the very beginning. This is the advanced part. So AI can be very effective in identifying and correcting your grammatical errors, typos, inconsistencies, etc. And this is going to free up your human editors to focus on the more creative and subjective aspects of the editing process, such as your plot, character development, style, etc. Now, you can use AI to identify potential plagiarism issues, and if you suspect it, you should. So it's really, really good. AI can compare a manuscript to a huge amount of data out there and identify any potential plagiarism issues. And this will help you to avoid accidentally plagiarizing other people's writings, and it's going to protect you from copyright infringement claims. So if you need to do that, just Google for plagiarism checkers and you'll get some help there. I don't have one above the others. Now, you also want to use AI to automate tasks like formatting. So formatting, it'll save you time and money for the publishers and authors in general. And most tools out there are software as a service. So that's what you're using when you're uploading your manuscript to self-publish or whatever. So try those out. Now, those are just a few examples of how AI can be integrated easily and quickly into the book editing process today. And as AI technology continues to develop, we're going to expect to see even more innovative ways to use it and improve the quality and efficiency of the book editing process. And that's going to be exciting. So when you're doing editing versus copywriting, the final consideration is how AI tools will write your books is determining how to ensure it's original content. So AI often copies and pastes or plagiarizes the public content from the internet into your requested search, and you cannot use all of this information that it provides without citing it properly, if you can use it at all. So that's the kind of stuff you need to let your editor know about so they can make sure that it's done right. So when you send your AI generated content to an editor, it's not standard editing. You're going to require some rewrites or paraphrasing and interpretations to create new original content that you can claim as your own. So as the expert of the subject matter you've generated, you need to approach this before you contact the editor. Do as much as you can, because the editor is going to edit the text as is. And the best solution for this method is to hire a developmental editor, and they're going to assess your manuscript during the creative phase. That means when you're still open to the changes structurally, etc. They're going to give you advice, literary and publishing insight, along with a critique of where you're doing it right and where you need to strengthen it. And if they see any obvious plagiarism or voice change, they're going to indicate this at that time. Ideally, you're going to self-edit prior to the submission to your editor. And the advantages of using a hybrid approach is that you're combining the strengths of AI with the human editors, so you get a more cost-effective experience. You're going to be more informed. It's going to train you to become a better writer and how to self-edit. And as a result, you're going to create a stronger composition and have more creative cohesion in all of your writing. So with that in mind, I want to ask if there's any questions out there so we can further explore AI and human editing. So enter in your questions now, and I hope that helps. Again, if I don't get to your questions for some reason at this time, you're welcome to send them into editors@firstediting.com, and we'll try to address them there. So I'm just going to look through all of my information here. Excuse me as I look down. So let's see here. We've got quite a bit going on. A lot of people. Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness. More flooding in all the time. I see a lot of mentioning of different tools here. Let's see here. And I'm just grabbing as I go up. Anyone else using ProWriting Aid for editing? ProWriting Aid is it is AI driven, and they are focusing on creative writing such as fiction now. And we are affiliated with them. We've worked with them for many, many years. And if you haven't tried them, I encourage you to sign up and get the free trial. Check it out. I think you'll be very impressed. And then when you're ready, you'll find that they quite often will send you to First Editing, and we'll be glad to help you on the next level as we go. We also have people asking about autocrit. So catching overused words, overuse of adjectives, adverbs, basic grammar. And let's see if I can show this here. Kim says that it's good to use before giving your manuscript to your live person editor. It saves them time. And I agree with you 100% there. Use the tools that work for you. You know, I'm not out here to promote one over the other because everyone's a little different. But I will say that I think you'll run into a lot of problems when you have too many tools. You can end up with analysis paralysis, high learning curves, frustration, and you won't actually get it done. And remember, the tools are to help you finish the project. They're not to elongate the project. They're not to get you stuck in the forever creative mode. It's to get the first one done. And, the more prolific at writing you are, the easier it will be to get better again and again in the future. So let me look up here again a little bit more. Chat GPT. Oops, I lost it. Where'd it go? Here it is. Chat GPT is an excellent way to flesh out my writing, yelling about my holes. We definitely agree there. So, all right. Oh, thank you for showing up here, Author John. First Editing's helped me editing on all 3 of my books so far. Thank you for being here and joining us tonight. We enjoy working with you. So, okay, a little bit more. Somebody's watching a game. Let's see. Pro Writing Aid, Grammarly, Word Rake, and Perfect It. These are, again, what I'm seeing here as other people recommend the different AI tools out there. And again, it does take time. It is a little bit, I will say that, as this affects my industry a lot, I've been playing and I use it for a lot of things, but only on the subjects of which I am already an expert. It helps me to speed up the writing process, but it does not eliminate the process of, really clearly presenting it and understanding what we're talking about. So let's see here. We've got people who love AutoCrit. Love it. Terry dumped Grammarly. Okay. ProWriting. Interesting. Intimidating. Never heard that before. So those are some interesting as we go in here. All right. So here's an interesting little contribution. I've heard from a couple of freelance editors that some publishers are updating their contracts, saying that editors can't use AI software while editing. This seems to be pushed by their legal department. There will be a lot of interesting things. I mean, we are in the Wild West right now. We don't know what's going to happen. And there will be, different rules to play by. Editing tools versus writing tools need to be outlined. Editing is to help you assess what is there. It's the creativity that gets lost with some of the writing tools. So, which again, Kim is talking about right here. Just use AI for basic line editing and grammar. So we are definitely on the same path there. And again, here we go. How have you guys been adapting your service? Well, we are getting lots of interesting things where, specifically in the nonfiction writing, where we're getting submissions here asking us to edit different works that once you start reading it, you can sense, feel, and see that this is not original. The voice changes, suddenly you're inundated with facts and bullet points or whatever. And it's not to say that you can't use the information that's put in there. What you need to do is be able to cite where you've taken it from and that you're not taking too much ad verbatim. You need to paraphrase. You need to put it into cohesive, and you need to keep it in your style, your tone, your voice overall. So this is really forcing us to look a little bit more deeply and talk a lot more about plagiarism, talk a lot more about the creative process. Now that you have these tools, it's fantastic, but it may not necessarily be, the best process. You need to use it as a tool, but not as your only method of writing. And some people, we're humans, we're lazy, we want to do it fast and easy, and I get that. But you need to know the subject matter. You need to know what you're talking about so that you can evaluate the content that is put before you, adapt it, remove, truncate, elaborate on different sections there so that it makes it there. And of course, we've been using AI tools. We use all of these to speed up our work, which is essential because now, as AI is doing a lot of that, all of our attention is shifting more and more to the developmental editing. If you're dealing with a fiction writer, it's the plot, the scenes, the characters, the overall story arc, the 5 main points going in there, all the story elements that fill that in. So evaluating that, giving a comprehensive feedback and adjustments there. Also, we have a higher demand for what we call our executive content editing, which is we're doing, as in depth of a content edit as we can. We're even jumping in with line editing during the process, but we are including a lot more feedback and doing sentence rewrites. And we'll do up to 20% of the document when it's necessary. That's not that we're rewriting pages or paragraphs or chapters and scenes. We're just tweaking it for you so that this is more of a done for you process. People are becoming more and more accustomed to having things done for them, as opposed to advice where they must go back and do all the revisions themselves. So that's just one of the many ways. We really the internet has changed everything in citations for research and academia, and making sure that that's done right. And then nonfiction, of course, that's very exciting because that's where the AI is most powerful in letting you produce marketing, letting you, motivate, inspire, educate people, document things. There's so much going on there, and AI helps you get that out more quickly. It's just you need to make sure that you do it right. And that's where humans really need to be involved. But good question there. So again, keep asking your questions. Oops. Philip has a comment here. AI is more mechanical. It can pick up 100% of everything it looks for and is totally consistent. Tough for a human. To a degree. It will be correct, but it may not be. So interesting. So again, with nonfiction, this is super duper, and it picks up everything. But what we're also seeing is that, it picks up things that aren't true. For example, we asked, we wanted to put up a quote in one of our social media the other day, and, who was the author of this quotation? No. When it came back, we were like, no, I thought it was somebody else. And we asked Bard or Chat GPT, whatever you're using there, asked them again, but isn't so-and-so the author of this quotation? And it writes back, yes, I was wrong. Here it is. So you really, when you need to know it so you can double check. It will give you everything from the internet, but not everything on the internet is what you should be using. So again, fantastic. It is consistent. It looks for everything. It does all that. That's the beauty of working with bots, but you still need to double check that. Here's a nice one, and I agree with you. The most important editing you can do, especially self-editing, is read your work out loud. It doesn't matter if it's fiction, nonfiction, a grocery list, or suicide note. Oh my. Read it out loud. I agree. It really helps you. And if you, to stay focused and to hear it in a different perspective. You can also have it automatically read. There's a lot of different read. I read them back to front. You do one chapter and then go back a chapter, read that chapter, go back. There's a lot of different ways. So again, use the good old self-editing techniques, and that'll help you get through it. So switch on your mic and get your audiobook done at the same time. That's a good idea. So let's see here. Kim is talking about walking away from your first draft for a period of time. Absolutely. These are good, solid recommendations out there so that you can get perspective and let it flow a little bit different. Let's see. We're talking about how we miss words. That's where a lot of these AI editing tools are really good. It'll tell you missed the, and, of. It puts in the missing words and points it out, and that's really, really good for those quick catches. Copy editors use words read aloud feature during the second pass. Exactly. Have it read aloud to you. A lot of good stuff here. So again, reading it aloud, it's much easier to spot typos when you're reading aloud. Carla, welcome here. I love that I'm hearing an editor encouraging us to use AI for basic proofwriting tasks. Absolutely. And I imagine the editors like getting a manuscript that's cleaned up so they can focus on the fun stuff. That's where we thrive. And again, it's going to give them more time and energy. You're not going to wear them down so they can dig more into what you meant to say or what your message is versus what you actually wrote. And that's so essential as we go through all of these. Oh, here we go. I love the overused words feature in Fictionary and Autocrit and ProWriting Aid, etc. Yes, those are all very, very good tools to check into. Here's an interesting one. This is a perfect example of how to use AI. I got an amazing chapter list for a nonfiction book. It gave me a few subjects I hadn't thought about. And I think that's so important because it will help you fill in the blanks. And, I recommend it for those of you who are doing nonfiction and presentations. It'll help you create your back of the room sales, and you'll have not only will you have a book, but you'll have a whole presentation prior to that. So it's very good. So let me pop into some of the questions we had here. Somebody says, plot suggestion seems like cheating, Terry. We're the creative ones, so it should be at minimum our own plot. I agree. Plotting is a little bit of a bonus there, but again, it's to help you plot out maybe the subplots. Maybe that's not as much cheating. We'll see. So again, people are asking about which levels of definite levels of editing and how those apply into AI. And I just want to go over that briefly. As I mentioned, we have the different levels of editing. You have you're going to start at the top level, which is your developmental edit, or when you're dealing with a book coach who's going into your creative design. What is the purpose? What is the message that you're presenting here? If it's fiction, what is your plot? What is your story? Who are your main characters, and how are those coming together? And are they engaging and attractive to your readers? If it's nonfiction, it's, what's the purpose of the book? Why are you the expert to write it? Why should people read this book? Why should they read it now? Who is a similar, what genre are you there? And what are other similar authors in that genre? So what is the expectation of the readers? What are you promising? How are you engaging them? Do you want them to just take the information? Do you want them to read more information on your website? Do you want them to get in contact with you? How do you write this as a nonfiction? So those are all high level editing and development, really, of the structure and organization and presentation of your concept, your idea. That's why it's called development. And although we refer to it as editing, it's kind of writing support. It's a creative support. You're working on your writing, not as a skill, but as a message, as a storyteller, as a engaging person out there, a guide into this adventure with your readers. So that is when you're going to really, really, you can get help from AI to fluff it out. But if you're concerned about the strength of your message, that's when you want to get either a critique or you want to get a developmental edit. And those are humans that are best done. There are more things developing out there, but again, they're more mechanical as opposed to, the artistic. It feels right. It's working right. I've worked with other authors in this publishing area and it's succeeded. So that's really where you want a developmental editor coming in there. And then you move on down to your creative. So if you were building a house, the foundation is that developmental edit. And then when you start dividing this into rooms, that's your content. Your content edit is looking at your overall concept and design and making sure that it's substantive, that it's working well together, that it's flowing, it's got your voice and your title. But we're no longer looking to change the overall idea. We're looking to make sure that it's continuity and flow and voice and creativity are accurate and flowing well together. Again, high level edit, very nice, a lot of feedback, a lot of revisions, a lot of interaction with another human being. So you're going to get coaching, you're going to get you're going to learn to become a better writer. You're going to learn to become better at self-editing, which pays off in the long run when you're on your second, third, or 25th book. Now, when you get into line editing, that's where you have these other types of AI tools or apps or plugins or appies or whatever you want to call them, the Automatons, and they are helping you with the grammar, spelling, punctuation, the sentence by sentence, paragraph by paragraph evaluation. It's not looking at the overall connection as much as the app or tool can look at it on that level and make sure that it's catching the obvious problems. And of course, a human editor is always better, especially if you've used any type of, Fictionary has developmental high level plotting and story arc and things like that. So then when you're done with that, if you're happy with that, then that's where someone like ourselves, who are also certified story coach editors, that could go through it using the same vocabulary and understanding, and quickly complete a line edit, which would assure you that you did your high level edit correct and it's ready to wrap up. And then you're going to go into your your final line / copy edit before you go into formatting. Now, I want to point out that Grammarly and Pro Writing Aid and the others, they're looking at the style, they're looking at grammar, spelling, punctuation, things like that, which is great. They'll help you pick up the quick and easy words. But you want to make sure you're edited completely before you go into formatting. And that's the final level of copy editing. After formatting, which things can get screwed up when you upload, is when you have a proofread. A proof is basically looking at it not only from what you've written, but what you've added. If you've added any, the page breaks, the overall chapters, any images put in there can really create a disaster. So it's good to have that last look, because ultimately you own it. We can all look at it, but you own it, and it's your reputation on the line. So make sure that you're using all the tools you can to allow the editors to get in there and do the best. But an editor is coming in there to evaluate and validate that you have a presentation that's ready to share with the world, that your voice is clearly being shared and understood and celebrated with your audience. So again, let's take a look at that. All right, let me see if there's a couple more comments coming in. I do want to wrap this up quickly. I don't want to keep you here all day. I hope that you're finding value out of this, and I'll take any of your last minute questions here. Here's an interesting comment here. Plato in the Phaedrus wrote ironically that writing was cheating and robs us of our memories and our creativity. And the argument wasn't much different than the arguments today against AI writing as art. You never know, right? So let's see what happens with that. Does Pro Writing Aid have plagiarism assistance? Yes, you can pay for plagiarism checks within the system. We use that also. How do you compare AutoCrit and Pro Writing Aid? Really, they're unique. I'm not using both, so there's a lot of videos out there. I think you can probably gather that information in 15, 20 minutes, compare a couple. But maybe we can do that on another one coming up, going a little bit more into the actual tools and what's the comparison overall there. I respect your question. It's just a little bit deeper than we have time. Let's see. Again, people are loving talking about Pro Writing Aid and AutoCrit on here, and that's great. Chat GBT to analyze and rate my chapter. Let's see what's going on here with Terry. However, it gets wonky if the word count is over 3,000 words. Is there another tool that can read an entire novel? Interesting. There are all kinds of books out there. And again, what we decide or talk about today could be totally different by tomorrow. I mean, literally the learning curve goes up and it's exponentially going up and up and up. And then suddenly we're at this peak right now. We are headed at a straight Very eager plateau straight up there. So we want to make sure we're going on there. Pro writing aid, there's a difference. Here's interesting. I just received a press release supposedly written by a professional PR company. It had no pulse, no pancreas. It required almost a total rewrite. Yes, yes, I agree. There are people who are getting lazy out there. So you need to be aware. You need to double check everything as it goes on. Okay, I know you're associated with Fictionary. To what extent would you describe it as AI? Well, it's based on algorithms. It's a unique tool used for quickly evaluating and grabbing a huge amount of data and then putting it into a story arc flow visually. So you can look at the graph. It breaks down your characters. It breaks down your chapters word count. So it divides that up so you can see the balance of how it's being used. If this is a highly impactful chapter or scene, does it have a high or low word count? But when it's overall telling a story, the middle of the book should have a relatively balanced amount of words. So yeah, they're using a lot of information there to help you use these mechanical tools and assess your strengths and weaknesses. They've also outlined, over 38 story elements so that you can go through and literally check every single scene to make sure that all of those important elements are there. So it's very objective in helping you to make sure your foundation is strong so that you're writing creatively within the successful form that's been used for forever. So I hope that answers your question. Yeah, we do work with Fictionary. We are the first enterprise that was fully certified as story editors, and we're quite proud of that. We work with a lot of people who've used the system themselves. So they do their own editing in the AI tool, and then to make sure that it's all cohesive and and good, that it's going on through there, then they come into us and we do the line editing and the copy editing and help them, while also confirming their strengths that they've performed with the developmental editing. Will a recording be available? Yes, absolutely. Absolutely. It's terrible for the user. No fun having to set up a YouTube channel in order to chat either. All right, I'll look into that. Thanks, Dan. Pro writing A can show up to 4,000 words at a time and give critique as well as grammar and style. Yes, they do. And you can also set it according to the style in which you're writing, which is very helpful. Question. AI seems good at helping on basic trope characters. It falls apart on a complex character. Yes, I agree. One of the tools that are out there that isn't necessarily AI is, well, it's a reference based upon a lot of, it's not automated, but it's definitely created using data and algorithms to determine it, is Go Into Writers Helping Writers. Big fan of theirs. They've done a lot of reference books on how to develop background and not only characters, but worlds, etc. So very, very good stuff there. Dig into it and so that you can create complex characters that are helpful. So this is a good question. What instructions can I use to ensure the AI first understands the complex and makes actionable changes? You know what? I don't know, because I have been fighting with AI myself. And it just depends upon your strength. Maybe, I don't know. I think, do engineers get a better description there? I don't know. But it really is hit and miss. And sometimes you have to keep pushing and pushing and pushing. But maybe you just have to not use it for that at this time, So the complex and actionable changes, that's why you've got human editors. Really, it's just not there. I don't know if it ever will be, but getting it to learn how to, in native voice, understand what we're asking for, or what we're not even, we're in what our intention is versus what we say. And it's kind of like when you're programming, you tell it to do it, it does exactly what you told it, not what you wanted. So that's where we are. And that's part of it. Good question. Does First Editing use or plan to use AI in their work? We use AI for marketing, but that has nothing to do with our editing. We use tools in the background. We use ProWriting Aid and Fictionary and things like that if that is appropriate to the order which has been placed. Our editors will continue training. I think that that's going to be where we're strong, is that we will have the ability to train and vet our editors better and better as it develops, and it makes it easier for us to provide those materials for them. We will see. You never know. I don't want to say never. I don't want to say anything's changing, but right now what we're doing is working, and I think it's good, but there will always be more tools. And if something works for us, then we will definitely use it if it's better for our clients. Are we developing our own? We developed our own CRM, our own email delivery system, and many things way back. Basically, I'm a dinosaur on the internet. And should have gone into apps long ago, but we didn't. We love book writing. We love helping authors. So we'll see. But nothing on, no appies in the development right now. We will be working with ProWriting Aid more and more, Noveler, and some of the others. So we'll see how that goes. This is a question I'm going to tell you I don't have the answer. What's the difference in companies saying they only use Gen AI versus Chat GPT type AI? Don't know. Just being honest. Somebody else knows the answer. Write it in there. Yes, this is very much so. The biggest problem of writing tools is that you follow religiously is it's going to kill your writer voice. And it's true. I like to take a passage from published works and use a guide on how to use the ProWriting Aid suggestions. And it's interesting because, I have ProWriting Aid. It's plugged into everything I do in all my day-to-day communications and things like that. And it's still, it's never going to be perfect, but it helps you learn to be better. It helps you learn all the rules. So it's a great teacher, but you still, when you get to creativity, you have to know when to break away and when to use your own. I've heard Amazon might be creating their own AI program. I don't doubt it. So we'll get more on that. We'll come back. I'm going to wrap this up, ladies and gentlemen. I just want to look here if there's anything that's really big that I need to answer. But I want to thank you for coming. Thank you for joining us today. Again, any questions, concerns you have, you can submit to editors at First Editing. We'll be sending out an email. And I do want to let you know that we have a special promotion available to everyone who's attended or signed up for this. We'll be offering you a consultation at a highly reduced price, and you'll get a partial refund for that when you apply it towards your editing services. So check your emails. It'll be coming out in the next 24 hours. Not immediately, but in the next 24 hours. So we do appreciate you coming in here. We appreciate you following us. Please, again, like, subscribe, follow us, join our community on YouTube. We do have some plans there to have exclusive information only for the community in the back end. Things like this will be available to those who want. And of course, there's discounts and special availabilities there. It has been my absolute pleasure to sit and chat with you tonight. And I hope to hear from you all again soon. Keep writing, keep inspired, use the tools to the best of your ability. And when you have a question, just reach out. We'll be here for you. Have a great day, and thank you for coming.